Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 5 Things That We Learned. You probably wouldn't believe that Man City actually played last night and were involved in a 9-goal thriller as we won 6-3 based on the reports this morning, which have all been about attendances. Fucking tedious nonsense. And I kind of got dragged into it unintentionally, actually. I wish I hadn't, but I did. I got dragged into it a little bit today. I think it's because I was tired. I was up late until editing until 12:30. So I did my own little video on it earlier before I recorded this. It's live, you all go and watch it, but it's mainly about why I'm tired of this nonsense discourse around this. But anyway, this is an attendance-free, empty-had-free zone. None of that shit here. We're going to talk about the good stuff because football is good. Manchester City are good, and good shit happened last night as we won 6-3 in the first game of the Champions League group stages. And I was very happy, and I enjoyed it an awful lot. I want to say I am on the road to 60k, so if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, it'll be massively appreciated. I'll give away a copy of FIFA 2022 as and when we get to 60k, so hit the subscribe button, it'll be massively appreciated. Let's get to 60k, it'll be great. I'm going to start initially with Jack Grealish getting it, man. Jack Grealish just gets it. And what I mean by that is he gets Manchester City, he gets Champions League football, and he gets this system and this Guardiola style of play. Grealish last night, I don't think he was astonishing or anything like that, but he was the kind of very good that you're happy to see from a new player who clearly understands how you want him to play in this system. Very good. If that's a mouthful, that, isn't it? But basically, you know what I mean by that. What I'm trying to say is it was so reassuring last night just to see further confirmation that Jack Grealish really fits in at this club. He really fits in this style of play, and we know that in general. And I do think he's got a long way to go to improve to get to another level as well. Not in a bad way, just because I think his ceiling limit is really, really high. But already he's showing his intelligence and his adaptivity and how he fits this style of play. I love it when a new player can come in and just seamlessly slot in like they've been there for absolutely ages. And Jack Grealish, well, he gets that. He clearly is highly, highly technical. An assist last night as well. And of course, a wonderful goal when he jinked past one and fired it into the far corner. But more than that, it's the way so far for me that Grealish has been so good in the ball retention stages. How you know what he reminds me of? He's like Nasri, but, you know, less problematic. Nasri was always a little bit diva-y. I love Nasri, don't get me wrong, but he's got that same elegant kind of gracefulness to his game where he keeps the ball. He can obviously play on the left and through the middle like Nasri could. Very different players, but there's something about the way he retains the ball that reminds me a little bit of him. I love it. Grealish is a fantastic player, and seeing him last night link up with De Bruyne and Bernardo and so on, and he's going to link up soon with Foden as well. I just really enjoyed it, and his goal, of course, as well. He looks very happy. That is the level he wants to be playing, getting the Champions League, and last night he proved that he belonged. Second thing, I said I'd put this at the bottom just because I was chatting to a guy in the fan view last night on my Lemo, a top Man City fan. You can go watch the fan view. It'll be on screen if I remember to put a card, but it'll definitely be in the end board of the video. But I joined the fan view. He said there's no defence, just vibes last night. And I wanted to put in this here because we realised that we can just vibe it out, basically. And we realised our defence sometimes can resemble just vibes. It wasn't the best defensively last night, but what I would argue is that sometimes just vibes kind of alright in a group stage like this, as long as the vibes continue up the pitch and you do get forward and create chances and score goals. And last night was a shootout. It was old-fashioned Kevin Keegan football, and I kind of enjoyed it, man. The whole night was about vibes. It was about just watching two teams score goals, very Bundesliga-esque, and it was attacking and it was fun. And even though defensively, I don't think we ever really switched on defensively last night. Like, I don't think it was a game where the players ever really got fully into stoic defensive mode, and that can happen sometimes, man. That can happen, you know. It isn't great to watch when we've been a little bit flat-footed, but it didn't feel like just a game full of loads of mistakes where everyone was having catastrophic errors and all that kind of stuff and being frustrating to watch or chasing shadows. It just felt like they were just a little bit flat-footed, and everyone was far too focused on the unfurling mayhem to be actually useful defensively. But sometimes that can happen. The third thing we learned is that we can score goals, man. After all the noise around the strikers, the strikers that we didn't sign, we've scored an awful lot of goals this season. We've had 2 5s already, 2 5-0s, and 6 last night as well. We are banging the goals in. Loads of different goal scorers as well. We can score goals. It's almost like and it might come back to bite me on the arse here, so I'm aware what I'm saying could be famous last words and all this kind of stuff. But it's almost like actually we still can score goals, and people were possibly slightly overreacting when we felt like the world was about to implode because we hadn't signed a striker. I still think we might slightly regret it, but I never felt it was a disaster in the way people acted like it was, because, you know, when you've got quality players, you find a solution. And some of the quality of the finishes that we've been seeing have been really genuinely good. Like, we scored a good penalty. Joao Cancelo scored an absolute blaster from long distance. Grealish's was a really high quality finish, you know. And of course, as well as the own goal and a scrappy Gabriel Jesus one as well. But Ake's header was good as well, man. I want to say as well, big shout out to Ake, by the way. Like, it turned out he was playing last night, knowing that his dad was quite literally on his deathbed. Like, his dad passed away last night. I think it was just after the game finished as well. So his dad watched Nathan play, and then unfortunately his dad passed away, which is, I can't even begin to imagine how difficult it must be for someone like Ake to play knowing that his dad could pass away at any moment. Thankfully his dad was with his brother and his mum, but Nathan Ake played last night despite knowing that. Massive respect and bravery, and rest in peace to his dad, and big love to all his family, because no one should have to go through that. But that was a quick aside there. But back to the actual point. Yeah, the quality of the goals was good, and the quality of the goals we've seen so far this season has been really good. And once again, as well, there was a goal from Ferran Torres that's disallowed. That was instinctive brilliance, that finish. Honestly, the footwork to round the keeper like that, absolutely mesmeric. But either way, we proved we can score goals. Next one is a terrible pun. Joao Cancelo. Cancelo culture, man. It's all back. Joao Cancelo was absolutely fantastic last night. That is the Cancelo that I love to see. The Cancelo that is at his mesmeric best. Because Cancelo, when he's on that kind of form, he's just so good. He's so good. An absolute beast going forward. There was about 3 balls over the top where he pinged them from 30, 40 yards that landed straight onto the foot of an on-rushing attacker through on goal. Also, of course, the disallowed goal for Ferran Torres, a perfectly weighted through ball behind their defensive lines. Lovely stuff. Then, of course, as well, a couple of good crosses. And, of course, his thunderbolt from miles out. That was like prime Dani Alves last night from Joao Cancelo. And I want to see more of that, because I do feel like Cancelo, as good as he is, I feel there's a level that he's not yet let himself mentally reach that could take him to undisputed world class. Because he has world class games, but sometimes he can disappear as well. But last night, he was undisputably world class. I want to see that consistency, because Joao Cancelo, his very best, is an absolute superstar. And I love it when he plays like last night. Makes you wonder how many chances he'd get if he played in the Bundesliga, wouldn't it? He'd absolutely destroy him over there. The final thing we learned is that the returnees are looking sharp, man. Kevin De Bruyne played last night. He's back. King Kev is back. Taking these off because I've got a bit of a headache today. Kevin De Bruyne is back and looking beautiful and wonderful. And he fitted in pretty seamlessly. Some lovely balls. Whipped in some lovely balls from KDB, whipped in, which of course led to the own goal as well. But just seeing De Bruyne and Grealish on the pitch, and he looked strong and physically ready as well. Just seeing those two on the pitch was mesmeric. I love it, and we were only just scratching the surface as well. And of course, as well, the other returnee, Phil Foden was back on the pitch. Interestingly, there's a little bit of information that came out that suggested that maybe Foden will play in the midfield a little bit this season, given the fact that Grealish can play out wide, which would be interesting. Apparently, he's been trying it in training with Guardiola, so that'll be interesting. But either way, he came on, played in midfield, and seeing Phil Foden back on the pitch brings us so much closer to that dream scenario of Foden, De Bruyne, Grealish. I want to see them link up, man. I think football wants to see them link up. If you don't, you're not appreciating football. But either way, there's no denying that all of a sudden our options and our squad depth and our quality, it does, it goes up a level when you've got the likes of Phil Foden and Kevin De Bruyne and Jack Grealish on the same pitch. And then, of course, on the bench, we had Gundogan, man. Gundogan on the bench, it's just too good. Sterling can't get a game either, which is crazy. Going to be interesting on the talks there. Mara's got a rare game. Jesus came off the bench and actually scored. Jesus' form, fantastic at the moment, of course. I also want to do a very quick shout out at the end of this video for Fernandinho as well. Like Ferner, his little cameo, so fucking good. He's taking the piss. He's making me feel good. I'm 36 years old, and Ferner makes me feel young because he looks so young despite being a similar age. Ferner, you're an absolute star. I absolutely love it. But that is what I learned from the game last night, of course. You probably took loads different from me. Go and watch the video that I did, of course, as well, talking about the empty ad nonsense if you want to, or check out my match reaction from last night, or the fan view live, or even the watch along if you want to go and check up on the highlights and the reactions and so on. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. You're all absolutely awesome. Don't forget to Give this video a like, subscribe, get me 60k, and thank you so much to Scott Denham, my Patreon producer. You're all awesome. Football's great. Man City are really good. Go enjoy the rest of your evening. Watch these videos and all that kind of stuff. And I'll be back tomorrow for another video in a bit.